You want to debate?
It's going to be fun. All right. You guys know the rules? Everybody good? Who's the affirmative?
I don't know any of the rules, but I'm good.
Yeah.
1 minute opening.
The rules are there are no real rules. You're going to get 1 minute to make your case. Are you the affirmative?
What was the exact prompt? I don't know.
Okay. Did Gandalf manipulate the Fellowship for his own ends, prioritizing the destruction of the ring over the whatever they called them, the group, the 5, the 10, or whatever, the Fellowship, the individual well-being, their lives? Did he risk their lives to destroy the ring and not without care?
Then I'm the affirmative.
I'll take the negative.
All right. You guys are going to have fun with this one. All right. So you start off whenever you start.
All right, so even in the best reading where Gandalf was well-intentioned, he was still absolutely risking the lives. But what you find out throughout the story is Gandalf the Grey wasn't exactly the best guy in the world. There were a lot of instances and other options that he could have done. People have picked the story apart. He could have accessed the Eagles and flown the ring a majority of the way. He could have contacted an army. He could have done many other things. Instead, he got some of the most ill-equipped people for the job just because they're small and maybe could do something special. Boromir, for all of his fault, he did not deserve to die. And because Gandalf took these unequipped people who didn't have any chemistry or any knowledge of each other and foist them all into this situation to make this fellowship, he put them in a bad situation that could have been easily amended if they had any sort of different makeup or people of one race. They're warriors, but I presume he's going to argue that he did help them at certain points, but he also abandoned them. When he went to go check on the necromancer, he left them alone to die. Like, there were certain instances where
that's your minute. You were rolling, man. Dylan, just start talking, and I'll start the timer.
Sure. Look, Gandalf is old homies. He smokes with the boys back in Hobbiton. You know, they're having a good time. They go way back. The idea that he would backstab their homies in that way, I find that personally offensive and disrespectful to Gandalf's legacy. I'm not saying the plan was perfect, but let's understand the conditions on which this plan was made. Okay? The plan was made after it was clear that the ring could no longer be contained in Hobbiton. He had to make a plan on the fly to figure out how to respond to it. And so he had to use the resources at his disposal. Yeah, it'd be great if he had a dragon and he had all these, like, oh, I have the magic spell that will teleport this ring over the volcano and drop straight in. That'd be fantastic if he had those tools, but he didn't. He had a bunch of little tiny stormtroopers and he used them like Russian soldiers and, you know, just wave after wave. And if we have to do that with the hobbits, we have to do that with the hobbits, you know? You got to send them in. You got to save Middle-earth, because if Middle-earth falls, they're all going to die anyway.
Okay, he had like 3 seconds left. That was excellent. All right, so I want a nice, clean fight, guys. No below the belt. Just, you know, keep it clean. And just when whoever starts talking, I'll start the timer.
I mean, even in the best reading, he still was absolutely risking their lives to prioritize this. And I mean, they had a great amount of time. Sauron didn't know where the ring was. That's why he had the wraiths out looking in a general vicinity. They got a boat, and you know he had access to boats because he sailed it at the end of the third book. He could have easily done something else that was much safer. Instead, he just hobbled together people that weren't ready to go.
Look, I admit that he put their lives at risk, but their lives were already at risk. I mean, the Middle-earth's already a threat. The key to Sauron's plans is in their town, okay? If the nuclear codes are in your hometown, you're at risk whether you like it or not. So you can talk about, oh, he put them at risk. They were at risk by the proximity of where they were to the violence and where all the power players were, which was in their hometown. So yeah, they put them at risk, but not any more than they already were. Instead, they put them to work. And you should pull yourself up by your bootstraps.
I think if Gandalf was a real man and really wanted to take the load, he should have carried the ring himself.
Gandalf was an alpha. Don't you ever accuse him of being a beta. Don't know.
He touched that ring. He said, you know what? I'm personally too weak to do that. How about you do an unequipped person that's never been in combat? He threw them to the wolves. They were not prepared, zero training. It was cruel.
Look, I mean, zero training. That, sometimes work experience is the training that you get. Look, if you got a week to train to learn your rifle because the manpower requirements are too bad, that's just how it is, okay? That's the situation that you find yourselves in. Look, if they could have gone to Sauron and say, hey, could you wait a few months? We want to prepare. The hobbits want to do some push-ups and sit-ups. They want to do some jumping jacks and jump rope. Then, yeah, they'd have time to prepare. It fell upon them. There was a birthday celebration. The movie opens with a birthday celebration. They were not prepared for this at all. It fell upon them, and they did the best they could given the situation.
Oh, yeah.
They would have done no better, Tyler.
I absolutely don't want to take anything away from them. And the hobbits themselves, they did fantastic, especially since Gandalf set them up for failure. But what I want to emphasize is justice for Boromir, okay? Boromir did not deserve what was coming.
Boromir Schmoromir. I mean, he was out in the open. He ran out into the open. He gets shot. If I say, look at me, bros, and I run to the open and get shot by like 50 arrows, whose fault is that? Okay? I mean, look, you can martyr yourself if you want to, but there's something known as ducking, which was discovered by humans a very long time ago. So, I mean, you can't blame Boromir for his own. That was Boromir's arrogance. He got corrupted by the ring. It was his own weak will that got Boromir killed, not Gandalf.
Gandalf could have put the ring into a sack and flew out an eagle. He was worried about his own personal safety, and that's why he had.
Do you really think Sauron couldn't have zapped him out of the sky with an eye laser, or they wouldn't have? There's nothing in his disposal. The big solution is flight. It was always flight, not to go under the radar. If you just fly, the fucking Wright brothers could have saved all of Middle Earth. I refuse to believe it.
I mean, at the end of the day, sending two hobbits
it's
into
a giant flying
spider's
eyeball.
cave.
Of course, it has laser vision.
Giant spider's cave. The hobbits had to go through. They had to trust the most devious person on Middle Earth trying to get the ring back because they had no other options. He set them up for failure with no plan. Just to get out there.
They set them up for failure, but they succeeded. They
succeeded.
They went there. It was a high-risk operation, but it was the only operation they could do on a short schedule. And by the way, Gandalf's the only one taking a leadership position here. I don't see any of those tiny fat hobbits going out there saying, you know what, maybe I should be head of HR. Maybe we should reform this XYZ. The elves didn't take leadership. They ran away. They were ready to flee the continent and let everybody get genocided. Gandalf, he might not be the best person for the job, but he was the only one with the willingness to take the job, to take the responsibility, to put his on his shoulders, make something up, and then he got it done. Middle Earth got saved, and it's due to the great work of Gandalf the Grey, who got remixed into Gandalf the White.
And all of it got done while he just sat back and let his lackeys do it.
Sat back. Okay, didn't he fall to a giant pit with like a flaming, burning monster? I don't know what it's called. Some Democrat or whatever. He falls into the hole with this burning monster, and he's willing to risk his life. He goes through this transformative process. He takes some LSD, some shrooms, and he wakes up and he's like, I've seen some stuff, man. I've seen some stuff. And he's now a better assistant to the team, and he's the one who power maxes the most. Nobody gets as powerful as he does for the late game.
I would compare Gandalf more to a CEO telling his lackeys, his wage slaves, to go out and do the hard work for him, and then he moved on to the next thing. He went and palled around with buddy Sauron.
Off a shooter and fights the demon that's about to kill them all. If a CEO charged an office shooter, I'm going to give him credit.
He went to his buddy Sauron's house and hung out with him.
Welcome.
Wow.
And what happened? What was the end goal of Karma? He was doing his best to make a coalition so it wouldn't just fall on the hobbits, and now you're blaming him for it.
That was awesome. That was everything I wished for. This was great.
Since
hey,
I know you assigned Dylan as one of the judges. I would like to take his place for judging this round.
Well, I think we were letting Confluence judge. Right. And we have Cleaner as a judge, and where's my third judge?
He was going to be Dylan, and then Kel was going to debate.
It's Confluence. Confluence was going to be.
Yeah, Confluence and Cleaner, and then the third one was supposed to be Dylan, I think.
Yeah.
And then he's trying to take Dylan's spot for that.
Yeah. Okay, that's fine. Kel, what did you think? Who won this one?
I wasn't watching this one. Sorry. I was gonna cap.
The truth will set you free, I reckon.
GG. I
All
started
right.
too.
Who was watching that can render a verdict? Confluence, give me your view. Oh boy, we got notes. Your mic is fading.
He's
There you
muted
go.
on
That's way
stream.
better.
We can't hear anything. He's muted in the StreamYard.
Yeah, he's
Or
muted.
Streamlet. Talk Studio, rather.
No, I'm sorry. I'm retarded. Can you hear me now?
Yep,
Yeah.
there we go.
I had myself muted. Okay. Plot twist. Okay. I'm
Bad
sorry about
Verizon
that.
guy.
You guys can hear me now, though?
Yes, we
Yep.
can hear you.
Okay, good. Okay. Tyler said in his opening that even in the best reading, Gandalf wasn't good. And that seemed to be uncontested. It seemed like he had many resources. And like, this is someone I read Lord of the Rings when I was like 10 years old. So like take it with a grain of salt. But okay, Dylan, I don't think did a sufficient job to prove that Gandalf didn't have other options. It seemed like he did have other options, and they were just like they were there, and so he took them, and so he threw them. As Tyler said, he threw them into the fray as wolves with zero training. So I would have to side with Tyler on this one. I think that I agree. The hobbits, I don't think they had sufficient training, and I think that Gandalf, he had many options. He had the eagles, he had the Wright brothers of flight ability, he had all the stuff, and he didn't do it. So I will side with Tyler. I don't think that Gandalf considered the lessers. I think he just was CEO maxing, and I think he just is not a good guy. That's my final verdict.
You don't know the lore. Jesus.
Okay. So who did you think won? Clearly,
Tyler.
Tyler. Okay. All right. Cleaner.
Yeah, I think overall they were pretty close. I think that Tyler played just a little bit more timid than he normally does. And so Dylan had a more command structured performance. Like it looked like he had more command over the argumentation. As far as point scoring between everything else, they were neck and neck almost the whole time. The only extra point Tyler got was because in his opening he did make mention of Gandalf, and I didn't really hear a good refutation for Dylan to cancel that point out. So, but Dylan had one extra point above Tyler for the command of the flow and structure of the argumentation. So I believe Dylan got this one.
Look at this way. Now I need a tiebreaker. So who was paying attention? Emmett, were you paying attention? Castle, go.
Yeah,
with
I was
it.
paying attention.
Oh, you were. All right. So Castle,
Oh,
you go or
Oh, he's gonna go lore on me. I was definitely butchering the lore.
Yeah, you did. You absolutely butchered the lore.
I've read a lot of Tolkien, so I know I did.
Wait,
I
was the fire monster not a Democrat?
the Balrog?
Yes, it is a Democrat.
Balrog? The
But
Balrog was
besides being a
100%
Democrat,
Dylan Burns personified.
there's no way that Gandalf has access to the Eagles because
Yeah.
the Eagles are not on command by
I know that.
not commanded by Gandalf. So that was a mute point on my opinion. It was a bad argument.
Debate.
I know Cleaner's gonna be like, but that's not the way it's supposed to go. But I don't care. So yeah, I really thought that you two did a great job. I really enjoyed your arguments, Dylan. I thought it was a little bit better the way you commanded the ideas, and I think he was relying on false information, specifically with the Eagles, to try to set a point that is pretty much debunked if you know anything about the Middle Earth. So I would say, Dylan, you got this one.
Like I said, dishonest and slimy.
I got saved by a Snopes fact check. Wow.
Membership to the Continental has been by thine own hand revoked.